If you've been struggling with belly fat that simply refuses to shrink, joints that ache for no clear reason, or that heavy, foggy, inflamed feeling that never really leaves you, I want you to pause everything and listen carefully. This isn't happening because you lack discipline. It's happening because nobody has ever explained to you the truth about one remarkable ancient oil. And even the small group of people who have heard whispers about it are almost always using it in a way that strips away every single benefit it could offer. But when you use it correctly, with the right timing, the right amount, and the right food combinations, this simple oil may support your body in reducing stubborn belly fat and calming chronic inflammation in a way you've probably never experienced before. What I'm about to share could genuinely reshape what you thought you knew about your own body. If you wake up stiff, if you feel puffy and bloated by lunchtime, if you've bounced from one diet to another with nothing to show for it, if inflammation is quietly stealing your energy, your sleep, and your mood, and no one has been able to give you a straight answer, then this video was made with you in mind. What I'm going to talk about has been hiding in plain sight for more than 3,000 years. Ancient Egyptian royalty was buried with it. Traditional Islamic medicine described it as a remedy for nearly every ailment, and now modern science is finally catching up, and the results coming out of human clinical trials are genuinely impressive. My name is Dr. Leana. I'm an emergency medicine physician with almost 10 years of ER experience. Day after day, I care for hundreds of patients and help guide them back to health. It's demanding work, but it's what I was made to do, and I'd love to hear from you too. Drop a comment below with your age and any health question on your mind. I read every single one, and I do my very best to answer as many as I can. Quick note before we continue. If this is your first time here, please tap that subscribe button. I'm working toward 200,000 subscribers this month, and your support genuinely makes a difference. You can also join our private community on Instagram, where I answer your health questions honestly and personally. The organic products I mention in my daily videos are linked in the description, and I only ever recommend the ones I actually use myself. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. All right, let's dive in. The oil I'm talking about today is black seed oil, and before you say, "Oh, I've heard of that," hold on, because most of what's floating around out there is incomplete. What I want to walk you through is the actual mechanism, the science, and a specific daily approach that could transform how you think about this oil. Today I'll show you how black seed oil may support fat metabolism, how it appears to calm chronic inflammation at the cellular level, and my exact one-day routine. Stick with me, because in a few minutes, I'll also reveal the one thing that makes most black seed oil on store shelves practically useless, and I'll share a simple at-home test so you can check whether the one you own is actually the real deal. Here's what makes black seed oil so fascinating. The star compound inside genuine cold-pressed black seed oil is called thymoquinone, and it does something that very few natural compounds can do. Human studies suggest that thymoquinone helps activate a receptor known as PPAR-gamma, which plays a role in how fat cells behave, how well your cells respond to insulin, and how efficiently your body accesses stored fat for energy. When PPAR-gamma is engaged properly, your body seems to receive a clearer signal to shift out of storage mode and into burning mode. A 2019 meta-analysis published in Complementary Therapies in Medicine, which reviewed 13 controlled clinical trials involving more than 875 human participants, found that black seed oil supplementation was associated with significant reductions in body weight, waist size, and BMI. Not in a lab dish, but in real people, in peer-reviewed research. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. Black seed oil also appears to help lower fasting insulin, and if your main goal is to reduce belly fat, especially the deep visceral fat that surrounds your organs and stresses your liver, kidneys, and heart, then keeping insulin in check may be one of the most important things your body can do. Insulin is essentially your fat storage hormone. The lower it stays throughout the day, the more time your body has to remain in fat-burning mode. One clinical study found that just 2 grams of black seed oil per day, which is less than half a teaspoon, was linked to a 45-point drop in fasting blood sugar and more than a 16% improvement in insulin sensitivity in only 8 weeks. Slowly, your body begins responding to its own natural signals again. Now let me share the real reason so many people cannot seem to lose belly fat. And it's not what you've been told, it's chronic inflammation. And I want you to understand the difference between two kinds because this is crucial. There's acute inflammation, which includes things like a twisted ankle or muscle soreness after exercise. That kind of inflammation is not the enemy. That's your body healing itself. That's actually a sign of health. Then there's chronic inflammation. This is more like a slow, quiet fire smoldering inside your cells around the clock, sometimes for years. You may not feel it as pain, but you feel it as belly fat that won't budge, exhaustion that lingers no matter how much you sleep, brain fog, cravings, and that overall sense that your body is working against you. Chronic inflammation has one central control switch, and it's called NF-κB. Think of NF-κB as the master switch that turns your body's inflammation system on or off. When it's flipped on, inflammation can spread into your belly fat, your joints, your brain, and your blood vessels. Fat cells become inflamed and struggle to respond to fat-burning hormones or insulin correctly, and your body can settle into a kind of biological lockdown, holding on tightly to fat. When NF-κB is calmed down, cells can finally relax. Fat-burning signals get through more clearly. Insulin receptors open up again. Cortisol tends to drop. Your body eases out of survival mode. Here's what the human research suggests. Thymoquinone, the active compound in black seed oil, appears to directly inhibit NF-κB, helping to quiet that inflammation switch at the cellular level. A study in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences reported that black seed oil reduced two of the most concerning chronic inflammation markers, TNF-alpha and interleukin-6, within hours of use, not weeks. What might this mean for you? Potentially less bloating, lower cortisol, better sleep, and a body that can finally access its own fat stores instead of guarding them. Speaking of cortisol, let's talk about it for a moment. Belly fat, particularly the visceral fat around your organs, has about twice as many cortisol receptors as fat elsewhere on the body. This is one reason stress so often shows up around the midsection. You can eat carefully and still hold on to belly fat if your cortisol is running high. Thymoquinone appears to help regulate cortisol output by supporting what scientists call the HPA axis, the communication line between your brain and your adrenal glands. When that communication improves, your body may stop pumping out runaway stress hormones. One human study found that thymoquinone-rich black seed oil lowered cortisol markers within hours of the first dose. The so-called cortisol belly is a real thing, and this is one way to gently push back against it. Here's something I find genuinely fascinating about black seed oil. Thymoquinone doesn't just seem to lower inflammation, it also appears to support autophagy. If you haven't heard me discuss autophagy before, here's the short version. Autophagy is your body's built-in cellular cleanup system. Inside your cells are mitochondria, tiny energy-producing units in every organ. Over time, they accumulate damage. They become sluggish and inefficient. They stop responding well to fat-burning signals. Autophagy is like sending a cleanup crew through your cells, identifying damaged parts, breaking them down, and making room for healthier cellular machinery. The result can be more energy, better metabolic function, and hormones that finally get heard. What makes black seed oil especially interesting is that research suggests thymoquinone may support autophagy inside brain cells too, something scientists refer to as neuronal autophagy. The brain has one of the highest concentrations of mitochondria of any organ, and when those mitochondria become sluggish, the result can be brain fog, slower thinking, and exhaustion no amount of coffee seems to fix. When cellular cleanup gets going in the brain, many people notice clearer thinking and better energy, sometimes within just a few days. But, and this matters, not all black seed oil supports these mechanisms. In fact, most bottles on the market may do very little. In a moment, I'll explain exactly why, because there are 4 common mistakes people make with black seed oil that can cancel out nearly every benefit I've described. Let's talk about those mistakes, because they don't just reduce results, they can erase them completely. Mistake number 1, using the wrong type. Most black seed oil on the shelves is refined, solvent extracted, and heat processed. That industrial process can destroy up to 80% of the thymoquinone before the bottle is even sealed. You're paying for an oil that had its most valuable compounds stripped away at the factory. Independent lab investigations suggest that up to 60% of black seed oil products tested don't contain the thymoquinone levels claimed on their labels. Some had almost none of the active compound at all. If your bottle doesn't clearly say cold-pressed and first-pressed, chances are it's not what I'm describing today. Mistake number 2, assuming any dose works. I see this all the time. People drizzle a few drops on their food and wonder why nothing changes. The clinical trials showing meaningful improvements in weight, insulin sensitivity, and inflammation typically use 1 to 3 grams of black seed oil daily, which is roughly half a teaspoon to 1 full teaspoon of real cold-pressed oil. Below that, you're basically using cooking oil. Mistake number 3, taking it at the wrong time. Timing plays a big role when it comes to cortisol, blood sugar, and fat metabolism. Most people take black seed oil randomly with the wrong meal at the wrong moment and cut their results in half. I'll walk you through the exact timing shortly. Mistake number 4, pairing it with the wrong foods. Some foods can interfere with thymoquinone absorption, while others enhance it significantly. When you know the right combinations, 1 small teaspoon of quality black seed oil can go a long way. I'll show you exactly how. Now, before I share the routine, you need to know what kind of black seed oil to actually use, because everything I've explained about thymoquinone, NFKB, and autophagy means nothing if the bottle in your hand doesn't contain the active compound. The brand I personally use and recommend is Seacare Organic Black Seed Oil. I reached out to them directly, and they've offered my audience a special deal you won't find elsewhere. Here's what sets it apart. It's cold-pressed, first-pressed, and single origin, rather than blended from various sources. The thymoquinone level is independently lab-tested for every batch, and it comes in a dark amber glass bottle, because light and plastic can degrade thymoquinone similarly to how they break down polyphenols in olive oil. But right now, I want you to try something. Go to your pantry, grab whatever black seed oil you have, pour about half a teaspoon into a spoon, and taste it. Real, high-quality, cold-pressed black seed oil should have a sharp, peppery, distinctly bitter character. It should give a warm sensation at the back of your throat and maybe even a mild tingle on your tongue. That sensation is the thymoquinone at work. If your black seed oil tastes smooth, bland, or barely has any flavor at all, that's a major red flag. The active compound is likely gone, and you've been paying for a bottle with very little in it. Seacare only produces small, limited batches each pressing season. When it's sold out, it's sold out. You can tap the link in the description to check out the offer before it closes. Now, let's walk through the best way to actually use black seed oil for supporting metabolism, calming inflammation, and easing cortisol. This is where the real value gets unlocked. Step 1. The morning fasted shot with raw honey. The single most powerful time to take black seed oil is first thing in the morning, before eating anything else. Take half to 1 full teaspoon of cold-pressed black seed oil and mix it with 1 teaspoon of raw honey. This pairing isn't random. Raw honey contains enzymes that can help enhance the absorption of thymoquinone. Together, they create a soothing, anti-inflammatory, cortisol-supporting morning primer. Your morning cortisol naturally rises between 6 and 8 a.m., and black seed oil taken fasted may help soften that spike, signaling to your nervous system that you're safe. This is the foundation of the whole routine. Step 2. Pair it with the inflammation-calming stack. Add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric and a pinch of black pepper to your morning dose. I call this the inflammation-calming stack. Curcumin from turmeric and thymoquinone from black seed appear to inhibit NFKB through different pathways, and one published study found that combining them was up to 3 times more effective at reducing inflammatory markers than either one alone. The black pepper isn't optional. Piperine, the active compound in black pepper, can increase curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Without it, most of the turmeric passes right through. Step 3. Take it before your 2 largest meals. About 15 to 20 minutes before lunch and dinner, take half a teaspoon of black seed oil. A 2022 clinical study found that black seed oil taken before a meal reduced post-meal glucose by up to 29% and lowered the resulting insulin response. Less glucose spike, less insulin, and more time in fat-burning mode. Every meal becomes an opportunity to support balanced hormones. Step 4. Take it before bed for overnight recovery. If you struggle with high nighttime cortisol, if you wake up wired but exhausted, or if you have trouble falling and staying asleep, take half a teaspoon of black seed oil before bed. Thymoquinone appears to support tryptophan transport, which contributes to serotonin, which converts to melatonin, your sleep hormone. A small dose before sleep may help lower nighttime cortisol, deepen rest, and keep your body in recovery mode. This is also the window when autophagy tends to be most active in the brain. Step 5. Optional. The 3 a.m. cortisol reset. If you wake up in the middle of the night with a racing mind and can't drift back off, half a teaspoon of black seed oil right then may help support your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and repair state. Many people who try this fall back asleep within 20 to 30 minutes. Here's your complete one-day black seed oil routine. Use it any day, especially when you feel stressed, bloated, or inflamed. In the morning, fasted, take half to 1 teaspoon of cold-pressed black seed oil with 1 teaspoon of raw honey, a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper. Take it as a shot. This does not break a fast. Before lunch, take half a teaspoon of black seed oil about 15 minutes before eating. This helps ease your midday glucose response. Before dinner, take half a teaspoon about 15 minutes before your largest meal. This may reduce your post-dinner glucose spike, help curb nighttime cravings, and support digestion. Optionally, before bed, take half a teaspoon to help lower nighttime cortisol and support deep sleep. And if you wake at 3 a.m., another half teaspoon may help you drift back to sleep. That's the full routine, simple, gentle, and grounded in real human research. Here's what many people notice after even the first day. Less bloating, sometimes within hours of the morning dose. Reduced joint stiffness, steadier energy without that afternoon crash, a calmer mind, fewer cravings, better sleep that night, and a lighter, less inflamed feeling overall. Within a week, many people notice a slightly smaller waistline, clearer skin, better digestion, more consistent progress with belly fat, and a level of mental clarity that makes you wonder why you didn't start sooner. Each of these observations aligns with peer-reviewed research, though of course individual results will vary. So if you're over 40 and you're navigating stubborn belly fat, ongoing inflammation, joint discomfort, or a body that just feels off, the right black seed oil, used the right way, is one of the most ancient and most scientifically studied metabolic tools that most people simply aren't using. This isn't a diet. It's a supportive daily practice you can build on. A quick disclaimer before we move on. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Please talk with your own doctor before starting any new supplement, especially if you're pregnant, nursing, on medication, or managing a health condition. Now let's answer some of your questions. How much black seed oil do I need to feel a real difference? At minimum, half a teaspoon per day. For the full routine, you'll take about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons spread across the day. If you're new to it, start with half a teaspoon and give your digestion a few days to adjust. I'm already on a ketogenic or low-carb plan. Is this still relevant? Yes. Black seed oil is pure fat with 0 carbs or protein, so it fits comfortably into keto or low-carb approaches and may enhance the benefits by supporting insulin balance and mitochondrial function. Won't drinking oil cause weight gain because it's high in calories? Not necessarily. Weight management is influenced by more than calories alone. Inflammation and insulin play a huge role, and black seed oil may support both. It sounds counterintuitive, but you're using a specific fat to help your body access its own fat stores. The mechanism is supported by clinical research. Can this really help with brain fog and low energy? For many people, yes. The mechanism is thymoquinone's support of neuronal autophagy, that cellular cleanup process inside brain cells. Most people following the full routine report clearer thinking within 3 to 7 days. Since the brain has such a high mitochondrial density, the difference can be noticeable. If this helped you, share it with someone you love who's dealing with belly fat or chronic inflammation. Follow the routine, come back in a week, and tell me what changed for you. And if you enjoyed this, you have to watch the video I just published. It's a talk I gave on the real reason belly fat won't move, and it may completely shift the way you approach your health.